welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be pruning one of my other ficus trees. This one is been sitting without pruning for almost, I think the whole winter. So as you can see, this is a pretty big tree. I really like this tree. This was a cutting, and it was a straight branch, and I've developed this into a nice ficus upright tree with a lot of branches. There was a lot of reverse taper, which I a little bit corrected by cutting a big strong branch right there. But as you can see, it still has a little bit. I mean, not that whole lot. This branch definitely right here is not as thick as the trunk, but the trunk is pretty nice. It has thickened up pretty well. I've repotted this thing a bunch of times. As you can see, it's a really nice straight trunk, and it's growing all the way up here. It's too strong on the top. I'm gonna try to reduce a little bit, and then maybe I'll do a repot in the spring. Well, today's first day of spring, I believe, so we'll do that when the weather is better, so I can take it outside. But let's go ahead and do some pruning on this guy. All right, so as you can see, you can imagine the size of the tree. So I'm standing right next to it, and you can see for scale, it's a pretty big tree now. So I'm gonna remove some of these yellow leaves. It's been dormant for the most part, but growing on the the top has been growing. The bottom branches not so much. So I'm gonna start from the top, getting rid of this very strong growth. As you can see, this is what makes the tree, the branches start getting thick. So trying to get that reduced so it doesn't take so much energy, so it doesn't thicken all this top. So let's see, we'll cut this down. It doesn't need a lot of pruning, but I need to cut the top. So this part right here. An old leaf here. Okay, let's see how that looks in the camera. Okay, it's looking good. See the branch here, it'll stop. This part right here, it's okay. I got a dead branch over here, as you can see. So looks like we lost this little branch here. Yep. Yeah, that's too bad. But it's okay. See, the problem with this tree is that all the energy is up here, and then down here is, it's very weak. Not a lot of growing here. That's why I try to cut as much as possible from the top here. But I think it probably needs a lot more pruning from the top, so all the energy can go down here. But easier said than done. I don't want to mess the top. I really like the top. Do a little bit of cleaning here on the stalks, dead branches. Okay. All right, so that's good. It's just a little bit of pruning. Hopefully I can reduce the energy from up here. All right, let me bring another tree. Okay, here's another of my my favorite trees. You know, I keep saying, but they're all my favorite trees. Here's another cutting, and this one has a really nice base. It's almost 2-inch, this trunk on the bottom, so very cool, very cool. I don't know if anyone remembers that watches my videos. This is a tree that had a branch right down here, and I'll probably put a link to that video where I chopped that branch, and I think that made a good decision. Let me show you. So that's almost healed. It's almost completely closed, but that kind of helped the tree. Oh, it's coming out of the pot. There you go. Let me put it back in there. I think I pull it. There you go. This needs a repot. A lot of roots on this guy. All right, let's put it back here. Let me fix the camera again and see if I can do a little pruning. Okay, let me see what we got here. All right, this one, very long branch over here. Look at this. Definitely gotta reduce that. Look at that. This is the type of branch that you're not supposed to let it grow, get out of control, because it's gonna make your tree look out of proportion. It's gonna make everything up here thick. All right, let me cut this one here. Let's go and cut this one right there. Right there. Yellow leaves. Okay, let's see how this one looks. This one has kind of a long branch over here. I'll reduce that to that. So I'm pretty excited about repotting these trees. I know they have nice root systems because I done a lot of repots, and they're growing from cuttings, so there's not a lot of big thick roots that I need to worry about. But if you look at the size of this trunk right here, for comparison, it's almost 2 inches. An inch and a half, I'm exaggerating. Let me give you a close-up. See what we're talking about here. Very nice. It's hard to see in the camera, but there are the branches. This one right here is, this part right here is very thick for my liking, but that is kind of the main trunk line growing from all the way over here, and then over here it's a little bit thick, but it's not as bad because the the bottom part is pretty thick, so it's still okay. But if I let this part over here keep growing, then we're gonna have a problem. So I'm gonna have to work with this and reduce energy on these little branches here. But I think it's good. I think it's going in a good direction. Okay, let me pull in another tree. Well, here is a, what do we call this guy? A rescue tree. So this thing, I don't know what to do with it. It was growing in a pot. It had no roots, literally no roots. It was just growing on dirt. So I got it. I repotted in that 3D printed pot from our friend Nigel. He was kind to share the files, so I got it. I got someone to print it out, so I planted here. And this is the Vietnamese style pot without the without the bottom part. I couldn't get that part printed out. But this thing, as you can see on the bottom, if you can zoom in here. Yeah, so you can see it did grow these low branches here. So I am very tempted to just chop the whole, chop this whole thing all the way down to that little tiny branch, but it's very weak. I don't know. I don't think I want to do that, but it's just a long branch going all the way up there. So I don't know what to do with this tree. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna prune it. And it has another side trunk here that has been growing. This part right here, I'm gonna reduce a lot of that growth and branches that is growing over here. So it's pretty, a whole bunch of branches growing from the same point. We don't need all of that. So maybe we'll do a literati style, ficus style. I don't know. Okay, so there you go. And now you can see a little better. Let me go a little bit closer. So now you can see a little better what I'm talking about with this tree. Just a weird tree. So either I cut all the way here and just let this little branch continue as the trunk, but it's gonna be pretty bad. I mean, not bad. It's gonna be very risky too. I don't know which one's gonna take over, this one or this one. Oh, it's definitely that one because this one is going inside. I don't know if you can see, very thin branch right there. So I'm still thinking of, and I think it's growing a lot of roots. I'm pulling. I did put a wire because it had no roots, so I just had to use the wire to. But now if I'm pulling, I can see this thing has a lot of roots already. So it's strong. So maybe I can get away with cutting this thing all the way down here and having a little tiny tree. You know what? I think I'm gonna do that. This is gonna be a very drastic cut. But we're gonna risk. First, I'm gonna cut it all over here. Ah, there we go. So here's the tree. Here is the big, long tree. Yeah, a lot of people may not agree with this, but I think it has potential. There is a branch here, a little tiny. We don't want that. Let me do another cut. And then I'm gonna clean up a little bit here. There we go. There we go. So I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna see what happens. But I'm gonna leave this one here and then this one here. But most likely I'm gonna use this one to take over. And then I'm gonna leave this one here, this little side branch there. So there it is. Drastic timber chop, trunk chop. Should I try to root this? Well, maybe up here. Maybe I'll cut it here and I try to root that into a little tree. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. All right, so stay tuned for that, but there we go. Okay, well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.